welcome to the regular board meeting of the Pittsburgh Land Bank for April 14th, 2023. Today's virtual Pittsburgh Land Bank board meeting will be called to order. The first thing we will do is we will have the roll call. We'll ask the staff to call the roll.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Emily Kalchuk, Assistant Manager, and I will be calling the roll for today's meeting. Reverend Ricky Burgess.
Here.
Dr. Jamil Bey.
Here.
Councilman Daniel Lavelle.
Here.
Councilman Bobby Wilson.
Here.
Director Karen Green. Director Steve Mazza.
Here.
And Director Wanda Wilson. Here. We have a quorum. Back to you, Chairman.
Thank you very much. The next order of business is public comment. I'll turn it over to Sally to call those people who want to address the Land Bank Board of Directors. You will be given 3 minutes. We'll time you and be a little flexible, but we'll tell you when your time is up. Please, when you address us, tell us your name and location in the city where you reside. It can be just a neighborhood or the address, whatever you're comfortable. So name and location, and then we're open to listen to you. So Sally, it's in your hands.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. When I call someone's name, you can begin to speak. I believe we have some visitors today who are just observing, so just feel free to let us know if you're just here to observe. So the first name I have on my list is Billy Vaughn.
Hello, hi. I am Billy Vaughn, and I live in the North Side area from the East Side area. Just want to give my public comment before and after. We need the land bank to support all types of development as far as community development that includes private investors, CDC organizations, and community members wanting to purchase property also. The upcoming treasure sale is coming up, and there's no type of, order for residents to know what they shouldn't be bidding against to help, keep the competition against, CDCs. We don't want that. We want to work together where the development that needs to happen with CDCs or organizations, they're not being bidded against private investors as far as community investors. So just speaking on that and asking for the land bank to support all types of people purchasing property from different sectors.
Great. Thank you so much, Billy. The next person I have on my list is Celeste Taylor.
Good afternoon. My name is Celeste Taylor. I live in Homewood. I did submit public comment in writing as well. And I do want to echo much of what my neighbor Billy Vaughn said, and to make sure that the land bank supports community members purchasing property through the city. I know I was lucky enough to be able to purchase a home in Homewood 10 years ago. And it was because of good friends that I was able to do that. I thought that the land bank was going to be a good friend to many people in different communities, but especially in Homewood. So I'm just really wanting this to get moving, first of all, and to make sure that ordinary people like myself have access to the land bank. Thank you.
Thank you, Celeste. The next name I have on my list is Danae Taylor.
I'm just here to observe, but I do want to agree with Billy that I feel like all the communities that we have a part of the land bank. So I think she hit it right on the nail with that one.
Well, thanks for joining us today. The next name I have on my list is Emily Cumpston.
Hello, I am a student at Pitt Law, and I just am attending as part of the Wicked Problem Innovation class, and I, as part of this class, I'm interested in learning more and hoping that the land bank can continue moving and perform the functions that in theory it seems like it could. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us today. Next on my list, I have Free Blackwell.
Good afternoon. I'm here just observing, but I do echo Sister Billy Vaughn and Sister Celeste, their comments, and would echo the sentiment that the land bank puts community and the residents and their concerns first and allows those that are interested that reside next to or close to properties that are available and make sure that there's an inquest to make sure community organizations, residents aren't interested in that first before it's put up for sale.
Thank you. Thanks for your comment today. Next on my list, I have Janice Shealy.
Good afternoon. I'm just here observing. I'm also a part of the Wicked Innovations class, and I serve as a community member. I work for a nonprofit organization, KBK, so I work with the residents in the Hill District. So thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Next, I have Jermaine Turner.
How you doing? I'm here just to observe as well. I'm a contractor in the city of Pittsburgh and just looking for some information about the land bank.
Oh, great. All right. Thanks for joining us today. Next,
Thank
I have Charlie Ellison.
Good afternoon. I'm Charlie Ellison. I'm the president of the Knoxville Community Council, and I'm also a member of the Pitt Wicked Problems class. And I have one question. When is the land bank going to be up and operational?
What an excellent question. Soon, and we're really looking forward to coming to Knox Watch next week as well to talk exactly about that.
Thank you very much for attending our Knox Watch meeting. I greatly appreciate that.
Yes. Great. Okay. Well, thanks for joining us here today. Next on my list, I have Sunita Petrell. Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am a longtime Hill District resident, 4th Ward, District 1. I am a part of the Wicked Innovations class, and I am here to observe. Thank you very much.
Hey, thanks for joining us. Next, I have Malik Potter.
Hi, I'm here to observe as well, and I do share the sentiments of most of the members who've spoken so far. Also want to just kind of put in the air, working to develop and build contractors to assist with these people who are looking to purchase these homes and come in and help with, the abandoned situations and just so much land we have in Pittsburgh, just considering how we're going to get help the owners that are already there, as well as help to revitalize the stuff we have.
Wonderful. Thank you for your comment and joining us today. Next, I have Nina Hagan.
Hi, I'm a reporter from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. I'm just observing for now, but I might have questions later.
Thanks for joining us, Nina. Next, I have Professor Stephanie Dangle.
Hi, I'm a professor at the University of Pittsburgh Law School, and I teach the class where a lot of our members are here today. The class is specifically on vacant lot development into green space. We've working primarily through the Adopt a Lot program, but we're also very interested in working with the land bank to support these initiatives. Developing green spaces has a tremendous impact on public health and crime, including a almost 30% decrease in gun violence based on a study done by the University of Pennsylvania. We're hoping to do similar work here. I know the priority is understandably affordable housing, but I hope the land bank will also consider the importance of green space as well.
Thank you for your comments and joining us here today, Stephanie. Next, I have Thomas Mulholland.
Hello, I'm Thomas Mulholland. I'm in Wilkinsburg. I work with Allegheny Land Trust and the Three Rivers Agricultural Land Initiative. We're working with garden groups, established community garden groups across the city to secure long-term and secure land tenure for them to grow food and continue their operations. And we are optimistic for the potential of the land bank to support that work. So thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. Next, I have Jay Brewster. Jay Brewster. Okay. And next, I have a Michelle.
Hi there. I am also here to observe. I'm also a community member in the Wicked Problems class, and I'm an amateur historian. And I would echo what others have said as far as getting the land bank into action and make the city more beautiful and people into homes that were built 100 or more years ago and be the new caretakers of our patrimony.
Thanks for joining us here, Michelle. That appears to exhaust our list of public speakers. Chairman, back to you.
Thank you very much. Having exhausted our list of public speakers, we go now into my report. The first thing we need is an approval of the March 2023 board meeting minutes. I need a motion and a second.
Motion to approve. Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. The second thing we need is the acceptance of the March 2023 financials and approval of the monthly expenditures.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposers, nay. Next, we need approval of the URA quarterly invoice pursuant to the URA Pittsburgh Land Bank Cooperation Agreement for the first quarter of 2003. So I need a motion to approve the URA and the PLB invoice.
Second.
Second.
All those probably moved in second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. All right. The next thing is that the PLB's November 23rd meeting date is currently falls on Veterans Day holiday. Staff would like to move forward 1 week to place it on Friday, November 3rd at 1 p.m. Friday, November 3rd. That should be all right with me. I need a motion to reschedule the November meeting to November 3rd at 1 p.m. to observe the federal observed holiday.
So moved.
Need a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. All right, it is as ordered. As a reminder, please submit a statement of financial interest on or before May 1st, 2023. Upon filing, please forward a copy of the completed statement of financial interest to KLAMSON@ura.org. All right, so that takes us to the staff updates. It's in your hands.
Thank you, Chairman. Our first staff update is going to be some updates on the pending sales coming through the land bank. The first of which will be our sale of 6 Boggs Avenue in the Mount Washington neighborhood to the Mount Washington Community Development Corporation. So far, our purchase and sale agreement is being circulated between the parties, and the next step is scheduling a closing date for this sale. Hopeful for May, early May. Could be more realistic for late May, and we will keep the board of directors updated. Our second update is on our properties on Flowers Avenue, 3 priority properties in the Hazelwood neighborhood for sale to the Hazelwood Initiative. Our first update is that the objection period for this sale expired as of yesterday, so Thursday, and land bank staff did not receive any objections to the sale. The next step is closing on this agreement and this sale pending completed quiet title actions on the city side, and then a transfer from the city to the URA for then a transfer from our partners at the URA to the land bank and conveyance to our community organization. I'll pause for any questions from our board of directors. Our next update is on the sale in the Larimer neighborhood, 243 Meadow. The first update is we have a public hearing scheduled for Monday, May 1st from 6 to 7 p.m. at the 6 Mount Zion Baptist Church in the neighborhood. After the community meeting, that sale will return to the board of directors for a second vote. On the right of the slide, you can see some additional information being circulated publicly and internally with our partners. I'll pause for any questions from the board. On the following slide is a reminder on the PLB sales process as set forth in our policies and procedures. On this slide, you can see that we have a 20-day objection process for any interested parties. And we are there moving towards this and through this process with all of the sales on those previous slides. On the next slide, we'll see some updates from our property reserve donation agreement between the city, the land bank, and GRB Law. This slide was shown to board members and the public at last month's meeting with some key changes highlighted is that we've had a number of successful sales through this agreement to community groups that had previously requested these properties through the property reserve process. We're very hopeful that more of these properties are going to move towards a final sale and clearing the properties put forth in this donation agreement back to productive use, back to the community. I'll pause for any questions from our board members. Okay, Chairman, I yield to you for our action items.
All right, thank you very much. I think that goes to our land care agreement. The PLB wishes to participate in URA's land care program, reimburse the URA for maintenance and stabilization services performed on certain PLB-owned properties. So we need a motion to enter into an updated contract with the Urban Redevelopment Authority to participate in their land care property maintenance program. Need a motion.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposers, nay. All right. We want to have M.L. Meyer as authorized signature for the PLB. PLB wishes to empower her as the authorized signature for documents related to title, real estate, and settlement. Per the bylaws, the chairman will sign any purchase and final sales agreements and deeds. So we need a motion to empower M.L. Meyer, the URA real estate director, as an authorized signatory for documents related to title, real estate, and settlement. So I'm not signing 5,000 pieces of paper. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. All right, that takes us to the land bank annual audit. We need a motion to enter into contract negotiations with was it Maggie Marusica for the PLB audit.
Motion.
Need a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. Fine. Moving right along, we need action for quiet title services. We're seeking to approve during a contract with a suite of firms for services related to title, settlement, quiet title, and tax foreclosure work and other items as an on-needed basis. Is there such a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposers, nay. It is ordered. And for those who are watching, I am going to actually say something at the end for those of you who are watching. So please stay with us. I want to share some idea with you. But right now we're going through these important, but somewhat housekeeping activities. The RFP's final submission deadline concluded on Monday, March 27th at 5 p.m. The PLB staff are excited to work with a diverse array of firms that submitted responses. And so we need to motion to authorize the Pittsburgh Land Bank to retain the services of the following law firms, Morant Law Offices and Orleans PC. I need a motion to authorize to enter into a contract to retain these services.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. Thank you very much. That exhausts, I think, our actions. That takes us to our legislative updates. Back to you, Sally.
Thank you, Chairman. So we have two pieces of legislation here at the city level and also at the state level that are important to the functionality of the land bank. So we've been speaking about these updates every month. So starting with the tri-party cooperation agreement, this amendment to an existing agreement between the land bank, the city of Pittsburgh, and the Urban Redevelopment Authority went before council in June of 2022. And so that approval of that amendment has been pending since that time. We provided an internal briefing to council members in December of 2022. And we are waiting on the scheduling of a public hearing to bring that bill back to the council table for a vote. The update that we have received is that a second internal briefing is being scheduled for April 25th at 1 p.m. I'll pause here if members have questions or comment.
Yeah, this is Nina Hagan from the PG. I had a quick question. How soon after the internal briefing are we expecting a hearing to be called on the tri-party agreement?
Nina, that is a great question. Would you mind holding off for our second round of public comment?
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to our second legislative update. We have now two bills pending at the state level. We have several amendments to the municipal claims and tax lien law. Recall, this bill was introduced last year and came quite close to being passed finally. So started earlier in the year, and there is now a bill before both the Senate and the House of Representatives, thanks to Senator Wayne Fontana and State Representative Emily Kincaid. Any questions or comments from the board? All right, thank you very much. It's go to the next slide. Thank you. And I apologize to members. I think that we had this under our staff updates, but we did want to take a few minutes to review the proposals for property sales that the land bank has been identifying and speaking with our local community development corporations and nonprofits. Let me just hop to the next, start in our interest. Okay, so, and before we go through these, and we do have a speaker to talk about some of these projects. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, so the land bank has been engaging and assisting community development corporations that have traditionally participated in the property reserve process, which was sunsetted in 2020. So we are working to make sure that existing property in the reserve is moving along, as well as identifying parcels that community organizations are interested in. It is an important part of preserving affordable housing, that we have this pathway for our CDCs and nonprofits to purchase property. And we also, these partners who have been engaged in previous processes and are familiar with current land recycling processes are there to walk with us as we are learning and implementing our sales processes as well. This is just a starting point. We're really excited to continue to engage with more CDCs and community organizations, and through those conversations also work towards opening up our competitive disposition process. We can also sell directly to residents. And what's important and crucial for the land bank is that we're speaking with communities about those processes, and we're working alongside of communities throughout the city to implement programming that is right for them and their communities. And so the majority of the properties we're going to talk about are coming from the city's inventory, but there are some as well that would come through the urban redevelopment. And before we go to the next slide, I also just want to emphasize that these are discussions for proposals. We're so excited to talk about them because I think it's so helpful to really frame what a land bank project looks like. So if you're watching the slides and you're hearing about the projects and you think, oh man, I would really like to see that in my own community, we are very excited to talk to you and work with everyone and continue to expand this programming and project proposals throughout the city. All right, so with that, we're going to hop to, so we wanted to start we're going to introduce Justin Belton with the Pittsburgh Housing Development Corporation. So PHDC is another affiliate of the Urban Redevelopment Authority, and they do single-family affordable housing. And we're very excited about this pilot partnership because it illustrates well, this is an existing program, an existing entity that's been doing work for a long time. And so, that this isn't something new or a radical departure from what happens now. This is the land bank complementing an existing process and just making it work more efficiently for this important affordable housing pipeline. So with that, let me turn it over to Justin to speak on PHDC.
Thanks, Sally. I'm Justin Belton. I'm the manager of housing development for Pittsburgh Housing Development Corporation, or PHDC. As Sally had mentioned, we're sort of a sister organization to the Pittsburgh Land Bank. We are another affiliate founded and staffed by the Urban Redevelopment Authority with our own independent board of directors, working towards common goals in housing development and rehab throughout our city. PHDC was created to initiate, plan, finance, develop, and manage housing development throughout the city of Pittsburgh. I see a lot of familiar faces on the call today. I know we have some people who may be familiar with our work and have partnered with us in the past, but for those who are new to the PHDC, we'll be giving an overview of who we are and what we've kind of accomplished to date and how this relationship we see playing out to benefit the city of Pittsburgh. So our main focus is on affordable homeownership opportunities and creating the ability for low to moderate income families and individuals who may face barriers to obtaining home ownership, providing them with the tools and resources to be able to accomplish becoming homeowners and be able to participate in the accrual of generational wealth that being a homeowner allows for. So we work with a number of local community groups to advance our efforts. So knowing that not every neighborhood throughout the city of Pittsburgh is serviced by a community development corporation, Pittsburgh Housing Development Corporation kind of steps in to fill those gaps in need. Even some of the communities that are serviced by CDCs, those CDCs are ran by volunteer staff. So we bring the extra kind of power of the URA to help identify goals and to help advance the visions set forth by those community members around the field of housing development. So if you want to go to the next slide, please. Just a quick overview of what we've accomplished to date and what we're currently working on. So we've been around since the mid-1990s. We've built over 300 units of housing throughout 35 city neighborhoods. We have 130 contractor partnerships with local contractors throughout the city of Pittsburgh, including everyone from larger developers to small independently owned owner-operated subcontractors. We have 71 units in the pipeline. Majority of those are rehabs of existing vacant properties, but we do have a handful of new construction urban infill projects that we're also working on to help complement those efforts and rebuild the fabrics and missing teeth within the neighborhoods that we're working in. We've invested $60 million in Pittsburgh with 8.1 million in current projects that are underway right now, with a handful of others to come. We have around 50 homes in our pipeline right now for this coming year. 75% of our sales have been to African-American households, 72% have been to female heads of households, and 90% of all of our work has been sold to low to moderate income households. So really helping to bring the tool of homeownership for creation of generational wealth to people who haven't had the access to it in the past. We've been really happy to work with the Pittsburgh Land Bank to date. We're really excited about the collaboration that we've been able to have and really see this as a symbiotic relationship that will equally benefit both of our organizations and help accomplish some common goals in getting dilapidated city-owned properties back onto the tax rolls, renovated and into the hands of low to moderate income buyers as home ownership opportunities. So with that, I'll stick on for any questions, but I will turn over the rest of our slides to Sally and Emily.
Thank you for that overview, Justin. And so we're going to go through the properties that we've identified, or that really PHDC has identified that we're looking to help support. So we've got 12 structures that are all currently in the city's inventory, 2 of which are moving along a pipeline to come into the URA's inventory, but that we will still likely be the pass through so that we can help support the stabilization of those 2 there on Shawnee. I think we've got some pictures here, so we can keep clicking. Yes, so here's, we're going to click through a few pictures of what these residential structures look like. And here's a really great, so 814 Lorenz is the unique one of the bunch because it's not just residential. It is a mixed use commercial storefront currently in the city's inventory. And it is also located in the avenues and identified avenues of hope corridor. Okay, a few more here in Elliott. And then these 2, of course, are located in the Upper Hill. Just to give everyone an idea where those sit, that purple line represents the Avenues of Hope corridor in Elliott. Okay, so next we're gonna talk about, we've got 3 different community gardens that we have been speaking with the Allegheny Land Trust concerning the transfer. And I think what's really unique about these three projects is that they are all in neighborhoods with changing markets. Right now, so you can't put property retroactively in the old property reserve. So if any of these organizations tried to buy this property directly from the city, they would be required to put this property through an open bidding process. And no one wants to see long-standing community gardens put up for, put up and put through that risk. So we want to be able to shepherd them here to the land bank and be able to preserve them long-term through the Allegheny Land Trust. So first is the Hillcrest Garden in Garfield, several parcels there. And there will be 2 URA parcels that would be involved with that transfer as well. Yes, and yellow here on that map represents city-owned, and blue is URA-owned parcels. And then there's the Kincaid Community Garden, also located in Garfield. There. And then thirdly, we have the old Allegheny Garden located in the Mexican War streets, also a long-standing, perhaps a 30-year-old community garden that has been there and located on city property. So, and I know we do have Thomas here. Thomas, did you want to make any comment?
No, just that, yeah, these are all really important spaces for growing food in these communities. As you mentioned, Old Allegheny Garden has been there for a long time. In regard to Hillcrest, those parcels that aren't city or URA owned have already been secured by the land trust. We're working with the Bloomfield Garfield Corporation on that project as part of a larger vision for their community and green space connectivity. So yeah, we're just really excited about this potential pathway to secure these important green spaces in these communities. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thanks for being here today. All right, next are, okay, so another organization that has been a traditional user of the property reserve that we have been working with is the Community Alliance of Spring Garden and East Deutschtown. And CASGED is has several different projects ideas. Their needs range from having individual residential structures that simply need some stabilization, a faster disposition process to be able to sell property back out into the community, and then all the way to a larger scattered site affordable housing development. And they've been a high utilizer of the treasurer sale process since the land bank has been managing it as well. So we have some examples here of property that they're looking at, and we expect additional engagement with CASGED to continue to help them to identify properties for those programs. Next, we have another example of some property that had one parcel had come through their property reserve and one had not, but are both crucial in the program expansion for the Brashear Association, located in Knoxville. And so they have been in conversation looking for a way to purchase these properties. And so we're very excited to include them in our potential first 50 property transfers to be able to help them secure these parcels and expand their programming. Okay, so next, this is a really great example of a project that could be, we are just so close to coming online here and being able to provide some essential resources. So this project is currently moving along the traditional pipeline where the URA has requested this property from the city of Pittsburgh. The parcels are currently in the city's inventory. So where the land bank could play a role here in such a LIHTC project is that we would be able to clear the title on this property much more efficiently and provide earlier access to those parcels. So we are keeping an eye on this. There's potential for us to play a role, and it simply depends on how quickly we are able to bring our services online in the coming months. But I do look forward to, I think, start for future projects like the LIHTC development, potentially being of assistance to help with that site assembly. And so here's another example of, so Charles Street Area Corporation has been utilizing the treasure sale process. They've been working with the Urban Redevelopment Authority on a project. And then through those conversations of helping them identify additional parcels they may need, that they could access using the treasure sale and the land bank, they alerted us to a structure in the community that was highly visible, that is adjacent to this future project site. And so we are able to, we've put this on our list as something to look at and evaluate and include in our pilot so that we can either stabilize and repurpose this property, or it could be a potential demolition to assist with the site assembly for this larger project happening in the Charles Street Valley. And here's the lovely home currently in the city's inventory. And you can see kind of all that yellow is current city-owned property and potential sites for development. Okay, so next we've been speaking with the nonprofit Grounded. And Grounded, for years, has been assisting residents apply for side lot sales. And so working with Grounded, we've been able to assist, help provide information, help guide some residents through the decision of where it is they should be applying to purchase side lots. And we have identified a couple that are prime candidates for a pilot sale through the land bank. Pictures of those current city-owned lots here as well. Perry Hilltop, which is the Perry Hilltop and Findview Citizens Councils. We've been speaking with this organization. They've also been a high utilizer of the treasure sale and transitional property reserve process. The Perry Hilltop and Findview Citizens Councils, so they have existing property that in the city's inventory that they're looking to acquire, and some current stabilization and housing projects. So you see that 8 listed here, and we're looking forward to potential future discussions with PHFCC regarding their future choice application, which would be a much larger site assembly, and there could be a role there as well for the land bank. So those are just a few examples of the conversations we're having, what a land bank project could look like. And we are just so excited to continue these conversations, get out to more communities, and talk about these potential pipelines. And let me add as well, so we had to remove one. We had a really great conversation with Councilmember Warwick, who's interested in this a pilot sales project to identify properties in the city's inventory and list them for sale to sell directly to residents. And we had found one property to look into to see if that could be a good fit. And it was just demolished by PLI about a week or two ago. So it's not on the list today, but I did want to mention that we are having those conversations and are looking forward to having more. Right, thanks so much. And I'll, Chairman, I'll send it back to you, but I think it might come right back to me to then go back to our list here to identify the end of the meeting.
So I do want to say just one thing. I've been having conversations with community people, and I'm sure most of you know this already, but I want to share with you why there's a major challenge to rebuilding houses in land in African-American communities. There are a lot of reasons, right? But one of the things is this, that the value of land and properties in affluent communities are drastically different than the land value and the body, the building value in poor communities. So in poor communities, whenever you do development, you have something called the gap. Now I'm going to give you a non-technical way of thinking about it, but it's helpful. In an affluent community, and we're going to use easy numbers just so you understand. In an affluent community, if you say build a house, let's make it easy. If you build a house, if you build a house and you buy the land and build the house and it costs you $100, the day that it's built, that house is worth somewhere between $110 and $120. That is that the worth of the house will be more the day you build it than the money you invest in it. And so oftentimes banks will give you most of the money because they know that when you build it, the property will be worth more than the money that you put into it. The reverse is true in poor communities. In poor communities or struggling communities or communities that we call of opportunity, when you put the same house, because it costs the same amount of money basically to build the house, costs a little bit more for land. But when you build the house and buy the land, it will still cost you about the same $100. The difference is that when that house is built, that house is now worth only $80. That is that you lose money in building houses in communities where the market is not at. So the difference between the amount of money that it will take you to build the new house and the amount of money it is worth when it's done is often called the gap or the affordable housing gap. And that's why building housing or rehabbing housing in challenging communities is so difficult, is because you cannot get enough bank money to fill the gap because they won't lend that much. So you have to have other resources. And so that's always the challenge, right? Is most ways we build houses is through loans and through bank things. And so then you need government subsidies and you need or private dollars. And oftentimes you have to layer those things. So that's the challenge. It is not impossible. But I am talking to some people who I thought always understood that concept. It surprised me that they did not. But I want to share that with you. And so when an individual wants to build a house or rehab a house in Homewood, those same market factors are at play. When they buy the house, the amount of money that they need to rehab it will be more than the house is worth after they rehab it in many cases. And so that's the challenge. And so with that, I will stop. And so the land bank is a vehicle, hopefully, to help reduce the cost of construction in some cases so that we play a part of reducing that gap in low and moderate income, and particularly African-American communities. I will stop there. That's a layman's sort of conversation about it. There are people, of course, at the Land Bank of the URA who can talk about it in a greater detail, but I wanted to give you sort of that number one challenge we have, those of us who do this work. With that, we'll go back to public comment, and Sally, back to you.
Thank you, Chairman. So I saw a few new names pop up during our meeting here. So I was going to start with our newer guests, Sydney Kennedy. Are you still here with us today?
Hello, hi, yes, my name is Sydney Kennedy, and I'm just on here to learn about the land bank and see what's going on.
Oh, great. Thanks for joining us. And if you missed any part of the meeting, it's all recorded and the videos go up on the city channel.
Okay, thank you.
So next I have Tiffany Collins. Oh, okay, so maybe we've lost Tiffany. David Kerr. Okay, and Rico Rucker. Oh, Rico, are you there? Barbara Daniels.
Yes, I'm here. How are you?
Hi, Barbara. Are you here to observe or did you have public comment for us today?
I just wanted to know what was going on. I just wanted to understand what was going on. I wanted to understand the process.
Wonderful. Great. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Hi guys, this is Rico Rucker. I was having a little bit of difficulties.
Oh, no problem. Go ahead, Rico.
So I'm actually here. I'm trying to figure out how the land banking process works. There's a young lady by the name of Billy who does the home buying program, and she made everybody aware of the auction that's actually coming up with the city of Pittsburgh. So I'm just trying to see how we can kind of come together and kind of prepare the community and engage them to become community stakeholders by being able to buy properties in the community.
Yes, yeah, excellent question, Enrico. We would be happy to follow up with you to talk a little more if you'd like to understand the interplay between the land bank and treasure sale.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So let's see here if I can get. To go back through our list here. So glad to have so many great guests. I should have marked down who is observing and who still had comment. Okay, let's see here. So Barbara Daniels, would you like to make any comments here at the end of the meeting? Okay.
You just talk to me.
Oh, yes. Sorry, Barbara.
That's okay.
Okay, next, Billy. I know, Billy, you said you had some had comments.
Yeah. Yeah. How many minutes I got? Just so I could put it on. 3 or what is it?
3 minutes. Yes.
Okay. Real quick, just to follow up on what Mr. Burgess said, right? If we know that, right? We know the value of the land is different in certain communities. If that's the case, why does the land trust only preserve land in low income communities where the equity and the value will stop at a certain point, right? Because the owners of that land, whether they build affordable housing on it, they will never own the land. And we know that most of the value and the equity in the property is the land. So the land trust is buying property. Why aren't they doing that in Squirrel Hill and Shady Side, where the value and the equity is so high that we can't come and live there? Why preserve and take most of the equity out of the low income communities? And you said it yourself, the value of the land is different in certain communities. So why are we using a land bank to preserve the value and equity just in low income communities where the residents will never have full ownership? That land will still be owned by an organization that is ran by a majority of white people, for one. And then another thing, Sally, is all those properties that you mentioned, are those properties coming through the treasure sale? With Perry Hilltop, I wrote down all of them. Are those the ones that are coming through this upcoming treasure sale?
So this is not a time for interrogative. What you can do,
No. This is I'm doing my public comment. I'm just asking because I'm working with you guys, because what I don't want to do is teach people how to I don't.
Call
if
Sally. You can
properties
call
are
Sally
coming. Is this for the upcoming treasure sale? Because if so, that's 55 properties. 64, there's only 64. So if 55 are coming through for these CDCs, that's fine. What you're telling us is we have to form a CDC for residents to be able to be good end users to get this property. Because no, it's not supporting community developers by themselves. So if we have to form a CDC or organization, that's fine. If you want to add another nonprofit in Pittsburgh to get property, that's fine. We could do that. I have no problem with that. I'm actually trying to work with you because I don't want to teach this if you guys are using this treasure sale to push these properties, 55 properties through for these organizations, because then you're going to get the community residents I'm teaching bidding and outbidding some of these organizations. So I'm trying to work with you guys to say if I won't teach it for this treasure sale because I am in full support of all these organizations. Although PHDC, that 80% AMI is very high, which that could easily gentrify a community because a lot of us don't even have 80% AMI to move into one of your low income housing. I don't even qualify for a PHDC property. So if we need to create a nonprofit organization that will help residents get a property from the organization and become a good end user, we'll do that. We're not trying to bid up against all these organizations, but there's only 64 properties in this upcoming treasure sale. And if all those properties Sally named is what's coming through the treasure sale, that's 55. So how many's left? So I'm just asking. So I don't want to be doing something that's opposite against what you guys are doing. It's just you guys are not supporting individual community investors purchasing property. So if we have to come in the form of a organization, a development, another RCO, we'll do that.
Yeah, and Billy, that's a great clarifying question. Everything we talked about today, most of it did go through a treasure sale at some point, but it's all property in the city's inventory.
So, okay, and that's all I want to know, Sally. So none of these are the upcoming treasure sale that's coming up on the 28th.
Right. And there are CDCs that have participated, but everyone is aware that is a risk putting property through the treasure.
Right, but I, as someone who supports it, I don't want to have community members bidding up against these CDCs because I am in support of them getting properties. But your last land bank meeting, you said there was 28 that were coming through. So if there was something that showed us which ones are for them, then I could have a better picture of just not having people bid up against.
I will go back, call Sally directly after this meeting is over at any point, and she will go through this in great detail with you.
We did it last time. You guys still aren't creating something that's making it easy for us to navigate it.
Again, you should talk to her directly and we'll try to meet your needs. Okay? Next
we'll
person.
Form an organization. That's all it takes.
Next person, please.
Let me jump to Nina Hagan. You did say at the beginning you would have an additional comment. So Nina.
Yeah, I had several questions, mostly for council members. And I guess first I'll go back to the question I had earlier. You mentioned that there was an internal briefing on this tri-party agreement on April 25th. How soon can we expect a hearing after that, and when would that be announced?
And Chairman, can you clarify? I'm not sure what the.
Again, this is not a time for interrogative. I mean, I'm trying to get away from that. You can ask whatever, you can say whatever you want during public comment. And then if you want follow-up questions, we can have those after the meeting's over.
This is a public meeting. You can't just ignore my questions.
So yeah, I apologize. I think we'll have to keep moving along. And we've noted the question.
Would every council member on this call vote yes on this legislation?
I think yeah, I apologize. I think we'll have to keep comments to not able to respond to further comments. Nina, did you have any additional questions or comments that you would like to say before we move to the next speaker?
Yeah, could somebody clarify when we might get a hearing after this internal briefing?
Yeah, I apologize that we're not able to respond to further questions. Okay, so with that, we're going to move on to the next speaker. JD Hill. Oh, JD. Okay, Celeste Taylor, would you like to give further comment?
Yes. I've been trying to understand the process that the CDCs are engaged in and how individual people are able to access properties. I know this sounds very much like what Billy is talking about. It's because it's something that many residents are interested in learning how to navigate. And I do see the competition, and I don't know if it's healthy or not, but all I know is whatever mechanisms there are, I think it needs to be very clear how residents are able to access property that are part of the land bank. So I really hope that this isn't just discussions for after the meeting, but that it may be made very clear in public. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for those comments. Next, Emily Cumston.
Hello. Thank you for the opportunity to sit in and listen to this meeting. I just wanted to say, having seen more about this process, my one comment is that to emphasize the importance of making sure that it's accessible to real people, to residents, to the community members themselves. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Free Blackwell. Do you have any final comments here today?
No, I just appreciate the presentation and information. And it would be good if, I think someone said it, if you could make transparent the answers to the questions that the public had for the council. Thank you.
Thank you, Free. Next, I have Janice Sheely.
No final comment. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you. Jermaine Turner. Okay, Charlie Ellison.
I'd like to thank you all for all the information, and I look forward to you attending the Knox Watch meeting so that we can get some answers to our questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, us as well. Sunita Patrell.
Hi, yes, I don't have any final comments. I learned quite a bit today, but I'm interested in learning more about the process and the end results for the community. Thanks.
Oh, and Jermaine, I see your hand is up. Are you back with us?
Yes, I'm sorry. I couldn't get my screen up. But yeah, I was just wanted to piggyback off of what Billy said. I was just looking for some transparency and to understand how we as like lifetime community residents will get our hand on some of this land and some of these projects to where we're not cut out, to where we can gain generational wealth for our families as well, instead of just you guys just giving all this stuff to the organization. So if y'all can make that crystal clear, that's what we're interested in.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for your comment, Jermaine. I have a Clara here. Okay. I do believe that is exhausted the list of public commenters. I can pause.
Thank you very much. We appreciate all of you who've come online and participate in this meeting. And now I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So move.
Need a second? So I need a second. If not, I'll assume a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed is nay. We are adjourned.